What's up YouTubers? This video is a part of a playlist and in collaboration with a group of different outdoor photographers here on YouTube. Videos will be added during the month of December, so make sure you check out the playlist in the description box down below to see what they're all up to. And I just wanted to say a massive shout out to Chris and Mike Pereira for inviting me to be a part of this Vlogmas playlist. I hope you enjoy the video guys. Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas.
And then they like other people want to go and stuff like that, so I just went through it from the everywhere, my Instagram, Facebook, or website kind of thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Last year now they were sold.
Welcome to another video and welcome to a new location for me. Wow. I drive past this woods a lot at the moment because I'm working sort of 10 minutes over that way, and although it's very busy, it's very cluttered, there's a hell of a lot going on in here. It's always intrigued me because the sun rises that way at the moment and casts, I always see beams of light come through. Because it's such a dense, cluttered woods, there's still quite a lot of green around. There is still some autumn colour. Most of it's on the ground. But there is, you know what I mean, it's sort of that sort of dense feel still to it, that sort of, not that bare look that you get after the leaves, most of the leaves have all fallen on the ground. So it intrigues me, this place. There is a little bit of mist, a little bit of atmosphere kicking about, especially like when you look further in the horizon, so towards the horizon. So who knows, maybe we'll see something to shoot, maybe we won't. But I just love these ferns at the moment as well. They've got that, they're on the turn, like I said, because it's quite dense, doesn't get a lot of sunlight, I don't think. The forest floor has benefited from that. It's not, nothing's too dead. So, but they have got like a slight tinge, a turn on them, like a slight browny silver to them, so they've got a bit more interest, not so bright green and fluorescent. So maybe we could use some of them. So yeah, what I'm going to do is just go for a walk around and just see if I see anything. And the purpose of this video is, I'm seeing this for the first time. I haven't even been here scouting, so you are seeing how I would approach a fresh new location and how rubbish I do, just like you'll think maybe you do when you struggle with new locations. It happens to everyone, especially us. And you may hear the train go past. In fact, you will hear the train go past. So yeah, this is an urban woods. Although I live in the countryside, it's a train track. There was a little villages in and around, and there's a main road, not a main road, but like a quite a busy B road there. So there is signs of life. But I'm excited. I'm excited to explore a new place. Let's get cracking. I'm sorry, I'm just looking because there's so much to look at, and as a woodland photographer mainly these days, I can't stop looking. Kirsty would be a testament to that. It takes me ages to get anywhere when we go out walking as a family. Right, keep going. This is so hard. Doing a lot of walking around. I think I might have found at least something to look at. I get the camera out and just see if it's worth investing my time in. Come on, I'll show you. I'll just show you what caught my eye. Right, so this is what I'm looking at. And you're probably wondering, what are you looking at, Tom? But this tree here, with these branches that sort of curl around like that, that's what just caught my eye. Just because, and there's a bit of a clearing through the middle, and you've got this tree here, so you almost got like a frame, like that. And then these sort of fill the mid-ground. And your eye does kind of get led to this interesting tree down here. Look. It's like a fan, or I don't know what the word is. But it's an interesting tree that stands out anyway. So the idea is I'm trying to not just take a picture, I'm trying to create like a story or a journey. The only thing I don't like is the foreground. There's nothing really interesting to look at in the foreground. And there is a little bit, hint of atmosphere down here, which I could enhance in Photoshop. A rule that I tend to stick to is, what's a rule? It just depends on the mood. I don't particularly follow certain guidelines or rules. I do what I want when I want, and depending on how I feel when I'm editing the image. Sometimes how I feel in the edit image is how I feel now, and it works right through. Sometimes I take an image now thinking I'll do something to that image later, and I don't end up doing it. I end up feeling a different emotion at the time, and I end up editing in a different way, or I'll leave it alone and I'll edit it when I do feel like I'm in the mood. So I went on a bit of a tangent there, sorry. But what I'm just kind of getting at is I will enhance this atmosphere down here because there is something there to enhance. I'm not going to fire in a load of mist in Photoshop artificially. But what I do is I can increase the contrast around here and slowly paint in less contrast as the image goes down, just to help work in conjunction with this little bit of atmosphere, and that will help create the journey that I'm talking about. So yeah, that's what encouraged me to take, or to at least have a look at this scene. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to get the camera out yet. So I think I'm going to leave this one alone, because I don't really like this foreground like I was talking about earlier. I like these two trees here. I like the branches like we talked about. I like that tree down the end. I just don't like this. There's nothing down here. There's a fern here, which is nice, and I could probably shoot it in portrait like this, and I have to get the wide angle lens because 24mm is not quite wide enough. I'm not entirely sure. Unless I do that. Let me sit the wide angle lens on and we'll have another look. So yeah, I think this could work. Just goes to show, utilising your lenses if you've got them. A wide angle lens can work in a woodland scene, especially in a scene in a woodland like this. That is very honed in, very tight, very confined. Using a wide angle lens can really help boost your woodland photography. So before I get the tripod out, I'm going to just get myself set so I know how high or where or how far back I need to be. And using a wide angle lens around 16mm, you want to get quite close to this fern because it will enhance the size of it. So I'm looking at around, and probably around a foot away from this fern. I've got to be careful because there's another fern or collection of ferns on the left, and I want to make sure that I create a little bit of separation so it doesn't just blend into one big green mess. So maybe coming up a little bit higher actually will work. Yeah, that's better. Just a tad higher. If I go down too low, then this fern and that fern coincide with each other. And plus this mid-ground tree here with the arc towards the tree in the foreground, the far distance, sorry, sort of intersects a little bit more as well, and you lose the shape of that tree. So coming up a little bit and shoot in a bit tighter, some around 18mm. Yeah, I want to be about here. So as you can see, this is what I've ended up shooting, and I don't know if it picks it up on the camera. You can just see a little bit, like on the left here, all around the left hand side of the frame, there is a little bit of ambient light. It's very subtle. You can almost see it there, but as like a sheen, it's coming across as a sheen on the screen, which it is. It's exactly what it is actually. It's giving the image a little bit of a sheen on the left, just giving it a little bit of pop. Because this image needs everything I can throw at it, because the scene is so flat. As you can see there, I'm shooting ISO 400. Let me just get the image up so we can show you. It's going to be on its side now, isn't it? There we go, focus back on here. Yeah, so you can see the image I've taken. It was ISO 400, a stop underexposed, according to my light meter, because I want to control these highlights at the top. I know I can pull out detail here at a stop under with the A7R4, a piece of cake, so I'm not worried about that. Shooting for the highlights in this situation is an advantage, and as you can see, using 18mm, I'm quite close to my scene, and it's incredible how wide that is, how wide a field of view that is. And using that to your advantage, what I've decided to do is these trees on the left. I've sort of almost cut them off because there's nothing interesting on the left there. And I've created a little bit of room around the right hand side of that tree there. And as you can see, there is a little bit of atmosphere going on down there, which we talked about earlier. And I will be able to bring that out a little bit more in post. So yeah, this is my thought process. I should mention I am using a case polarizer, just not to cut through all that glare, because I want a bit of glare, because like I said a minute ago, it adds depth, I can use it to my advantage to create layers and depth. But what I am doing, if I can show you here, I don't know if you'll be able to see on the screen, see just down here on this leaf here, this fern here, when you twist that polarizer, the glare changes around. It's very subtle, it's probably hard for you to see on the camera, but I can see it obviously through my viewfinder. So I'm just controlling that glare, or where that glare hits in a certain way, so that I can again create depth, layers and a journey through this image. But yeah, I do like this image. I like it's nicely composed. Is it going to be a world beater? Probably not. But on the same breath, it's a good exercise, and it's a good way to utilise your long lens, your short lens, which I don't tend to do. I don't tend to use a 16 to 35 that much. So yeah. So there you have it. That is how I would approach this scene and approach a new location. Obviously I could have filmed so much since being here. You haven't seen all of the frustrations. I've been walking around for hours now, and that is the reality of photography, especially woodland photography. But if you can take one thing, it is don't be afraid to use your wide angle lens in the woods. It is obviously, your camera is a tool, your lenses are tools, so don't be afraid to use all of them, and especially to the strengths. The wide angle lens here helps me get everything I want in frame, but at the same time I'm being very wary about what I don't want to include and what doesn't add to the image. That's why I closed that tree off on the left, and that is why I am including this fern, because if I was shooting slightly wider, like I did before, and didn't include this fern, the midground just doesn't work. And again, once you've homed in your composition, then go over the finer details. Like this fern, I said I wanted to create a little bit of space around it. I wanted to use the deadfall on the ground as to my advantage, and separate it from the clutter that's on the left hand side, sort of shallow midground, shall we say. So yeah, before I go on, for those of you who are interested, some people do like to know, I was shooting that f/16, and I am stood back probably 2, maybe even 3 foot from this fern. And I've done that because of what I just said about creating room, and because I've come back 2 to 3 foot, that has allowed me to get this in one image in terms of depth of field. That's why I'm using f/16, just to give myself an insurance policy. And again, I have checked the images before I move this tripod and I move on. I can't stress that enough. Take your time, please check your images on the back of your screen, look through the viewfinder, check the edges, and just check that you're happy with the sharpness before moving on. Do not rush woodland photography. You cannot rush woodland photography, especially in instances like this. The light is pretty crap, if I'm honest. It's very flat. It's not changeable, and the conditions are so still. I ain't got to worry about anything moving or anything changing weather-wise. And I should mention again, I was shooting around just over half a second to a second, because I'm not worried about anything moving. I do like to keep my exposures to under a second in woodland, even when it's still, because you do tend to get a little bit of a movement, especially in these like delicate ferns. But yeah, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you can take something away from this, and hopefully the audio quality is better. I'm not using a shotgun mic anymore. I'm using the little Rode, I think they're called wireless goes. So yeah, thank you to Adam for sending it to me. I did pay for it. Yeah, so they're a good addition to my vlogging setup. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Ciao.